Righty then, welcome back to the channel. My name is Stephen Howson, and this is 5 things that we learned watching Manchester United draw yesterday with Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. First things first, it's a happy hunting ground, weirdly. We're now 12 away games in London undefeated, which is pretty good, I guess. And no, Watford isn't London, it's Watford. It's just outside. We're unbeaten at Stamford Bridge in the last 6 visits, which feels mental considering how poor we've played at Stamford Bridge and how poor our record's been in the Premier League era in Stamford Bridge. I remember in the Cantona days, Stamford Bridge was a horrible place for us to go to, a real bogey team for us. So it's nice for us to actually come away and start looking like we can get some results. And a draw away from home at Chelsea is a good result. It just doesn't feel like a good result because when you take the lead and you have a bullshit penalty given against you, so soft. It feels like we could have come away with more, but after you've slept on it, a draw is not a bad result. It's on the home team to get those results, so you take the draw. Number 2, Rangnick preview. The energy and work rate was miles better, and obviously we introduced a formation that we have seen under Ole. We've seen it like twice under Ole, and it's a formation that I think United could have utilised a lot more of. I think it's one that certainly looks stronger in midfield, on account of the fact you've got 4 midfielders playing in it. And I think it's a formation that United could utilise as we go forward. I would expect Rangnick to look at this formation. I wouldn't be surprised if this formation came down on his orders. We press so much better. Even though it wasn't perfect, the desire to press and the sort of impetus to press was there, which was positive, I thought. And like I said, it wasn't perfect, but it's certainly something for us to work on. Did Rangnick pick the team? I'd be very surprised. I think Gary Neville's sort of alluding to the fact that he thinks he's had some sort of input into the team. I think he'll give Michael Carrick the trust to be able to select the 11 that he thought was best on the day. Was Ronaldo's omission something that he's thought of? Again, I can't say Rangnick would have had too much input into that right now. I'm sure he's having daily, if not hourly, conversations with the coaching staff, trying to learn and gather as much intelligence as he can before he arrives. But I'd be very, very surprised if there's in any way sort of him selecting the team or giving the team talk or anything like that. Number 3, Bruno's slump. So he was poor again yesterday. He looked erratic. He looked rushed. Is it the better option to maybe start looking at dropping Bruno Fernandes in those bigger games rather than Cristiano Ronaldo? He was sloppy in possession. Is he able to simplify his game to the point where he can be effective when you're going to have such large periods of the game when you're without the ball and we're trying to play on the counter? Is Bruno Fernandes actually set up to be more of an in-possession kind of player rather than effective on the counter for us? Can he adjust? He also hasn't now scored in 1,170 minutes of football for Manchester United. What's going on there? Is that a Euros hangover? Is it something else at play with him? Bruno Fernandes hopefully is going to get rejuvenated with the arrival of the new manager, but is it also a case of Bruno plays bad, United play bad? He's been so effective for us since he came in as a Manchester United player. Is this just a natural tailing off that he's going to have at some point in his career, or is there something more serious to look at? I guess only time's going to tell on that one. Number 4, the Ronaldo dilemma. So, does he fit? We saw Roy Keane and Jamie Carragher going head-to-head on Sky last night. I did a video about it this morning if you want to go and get my full thoughts on that one. It's Cristiano Ronaldo. I think he's so good a player that you adjust and he adjusts and you get the best out of him and the team at the same time. I think banishing him would be a mistake, and I don't think signing him was a mistake if you want the simplified version of what I said in that video. He can play at a higher tempo. He can be effective in a higher tempo team. He isn't going to completely change and tear ass around the pitch like Fred does. That's just not in his nature. But he's on the pitch for different reasons. You can still accommodate him and you can still have him sort of cheat a little bit when you're defending. He has not come to play on the bench, and politically is that big of a superstar that he will not sit on the bench. He will leave. He is the sort of player that you see with the headlines it creates when he's left on the bench, that it doesn't generate with anybody else when they're left on the bench. I remember the same thing happening with David Beckham when Fergie left him out against Real Madrid. the amount of press that was there taking photos of him. And the same thing happened when Jose left Wayne Rooney out. You get world-class players into your team because they're world-class players, and you're a better team for it. There's question marks over whether Ronaldo's hampering the progress of the youth. I don't think so. I think the only person who could justifiably be upset with Ronaldo being in the team is Cavani, because Cavani's performances have warranted him starting. And maybe it's a good thing Ronaldo has been available, because Cavani's availability has been a little underwhelming, to say the least. And finally, number 5, start of an era. We've got Arsenal next, and then a series of winnable games. Hopefully Ralf Rangnick comes in, is able to pick up some victories in those games, get a real chance at building some momentum, and possibly salvage the season. I still see United being capable of finishing inside the top 4. I don't think it's a gimme like it was at the start of the season. It definitely should have been, but I think it's still possible. You might get a little bit of a lift with a new manager coming in as people look to try and impress him. People that thought their careers were going a certain direction under one manager might have found newfound motivation, and you might find themselves putting in that extra 5-10% that can get them on the line. Can this Manchester United side go on a run? If you can win a first couple of games, the trust will be there from the squad to the manager and the manager to the squad. When there's trust, magic things can start to happen. He needs to start well. I'm not sure what day he's actually going to be, confirmed as manager. It sounds like it's going to be this week, whether it's the Palace game or the Arsenal game. I think it's purely in the hands of the bureaucrats at the moment and Brexit and stuff. But it looks like he's going to be here at some point over the weekend either way. So let's hope that the impending arrival of Ralf Rangnick is enabling us to go on a run, and we'll see how he goes. But in the meantime, thank you guys for tuning in. The rundown is returning this Saturday at 9 o'clock, December the 4th. If you'd like to get involved, it's going to be on Patreon only. So if you want to support the channel and get some content, 'cause it's going to be absolute chaos, then check the link in the description below. And we're getting absolutely off our box this weekend. If you'd like to come and join us, like I said, link in the description. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, 5-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.